Hello students, today will we discuss about talk on the phone. ओके आज हम बात करेंगे हाउ टू टॉक ऑन द फोन. फ़ोन पर किस तरीके से बात करें. टॉकिंग ऑन द फोन इज मच डिफरेंट दैन टॉकिंग इन पर्सन. For some people it comes easily, but for others it is an acquired skill. Some people have anxiety when it comes to talking on the phone due to the awkwardness of being able to hear someone's voice but not see the body language. If you want to get better at talking over the phone, there are some you can do to prepare for your next phone calls that can help yet out. देखिए, फ़ोन पर बात करना एक कौशल है, एक स्किल है. यदि आप फ़ोन पर बात बेहतर करने में बेहतर होना चाहते हैं तो आप अगले फ़ोन कॉल की तैयारी के लिए कुछ चीज़ें कर सकते हैं जो आपकी मदद कर सकती हैं. फर्स्ट, आई हैव सम कन्वर्सेशन टॉपिक्स इन माइंड बिफोर पिकिंग अप द फोन टू कॉल समवन. You can even write them down if you want. Don't write a whole sentence. The last thing you want to do is read from a script. Write just a few words to remind you of what you wanted to talk about. If you don't have anything in particular you want to talk to your friend or family member about, here are some ideas. Next, determine how long this call might be. Casual phone calls can vary greatly in length, and you are walking to is a big factor in that. If it is someone you have not talked to in a while or who you don't get to see often, the probably necessitates a longer conversation. If it is a friend you see every week, you probably don't have much to catch up on, so the call won't need to be very long. The benefit of knowledge ahead of time roughly how long you want this call to be is that you can avoid ending the call too short or staying on the too long by preparing topics of conversation appropriately. Next, don't to talk too much. Okay, ज़्यादा बात ना करें. If you don't have too much to say, let the other person talk most of the time and simply keep the conversation going. Don't interrupt when the other person is talking. Let him or her say. A big part of having a successful casual phone conversation is simply good listening skills. It can also help to have some questions ready to ask, especially when the conversation falls silent. Some possible questions include: how was your day? How's work been going? How was your weekend? Have you been working on any project recently? Seen any good movies recently? इस तरीके से हम क्वेश्चंस पुटअप कर सकते हैं. ओके, नेक्स्ट है नो व्हेन एंड हाउ टू एंड फोन कॉल. You don't want to wear out a pleasurable chat. The goal is to hang up the phone with the other person thinking, what a nice chat, I should call him her again sometime. When to end the call can usually be left by noticing more frequent pauses in the conversation and that you have run out of interesting topics. The personality of the person you are talking to and how often you see and or talk to them are both going to be big factors in how long the conversation will go on. Once you get the feeling that the conversation is coming to a natural ending point and the call gracefully, similarly to if you were talking to someone in person, and had to leave the structure of the calls and should look like a positive statement about the chat optionally and what you are about to do next. Let them know would like to. Next, keep in mind what the purpose of the call is. A formal call can be anything from setting up a dentist appointment to calling a client or customer for your job. What the purpose of the call is will determine how you will prepare for the call. Most formal calls falls into the following categories: customer call from front desk, receptionist or sales team members. There are number of jobs in which you will have to make and receive many calls from current and prospective customers and clients. Next, appointment call. Sometimes you will need to make a call to make an appointment for anything from seeing the dentist to getting your oil changed. Work call. This includes anything but calling work, to call in sick, to calling your boss to talk about a recent work development. Next, keep your statements short and simple. It is often best to let the other person lead the conversation, especially if it is a customer or higher up at your work. Remember that a successful phone call is dialogue, not just you getting across what you need to say. Allow time for the other person to respond to your statements and questions and follow up on their responses rather than just jumping into the next topic. Relax. Before you make the call or answer the phone, take a few deep breaths with your eyes closed. If you have any little routines that help you relax, put them to use before and during the call. Practice. As with all things, practices make perfect. If you really want to get better at talking on the phone without getting nervous, get a job that heavily involves phone calls. Over time, it will go from something that induces apprehension and dread to something you can do without even thinking about it. You can also practice by calling your friends or family just to talk. Plan for the conversation to be short so you don't have to worry about carry it on too long. Pay attention to your own body language. Just because you can't see the other person's body language does not mean your own is not important. It may help you to pace around while you talk or gesture with your free hand. Smiling while you talk will both help you come across as friendly and open and make you feel more friendly and open. Some people also find it helpful to look in the mirror while they speak on the phone. Next, stay polite and at least semi-formal. For formal phone calls, you are going to want to have a different tone to your speech than a casual call, just as you speak differently at your friend's house than at a meeting. Here are some basic formal phone call tips. Don't use slang or informal speech. Use the other person's appropriate title when greeting them. If you need to put a customer on hold, ask them permission first. Speak clearly and slowly enough to be heard. If you miss what the other person said, don't say what. Say, "I'm sorry, I did not catch that," or a pardon. Determining how long this call might be. Use canned lines if you have to make calls for your job on a regular basis and you have trouble sometimes overcoming phone call anxiety. It can be helpful to prepare some lines. It is best not to rely on these as a crutch, but they can be useful when you are getting started. They can help you get the dialogue going and give you something to fall back on when you are unsure of what to say. For calling customers, these lines can be something like, I hope you have enjoyed doing business with us, or thank you for calling blank. How can I help you? Once you have determined what the purpose of the call, you will need to plan out what needs questions that you will need to hit at some point during the phone call. So it's best to prepare ahead of time. You can even write them down if you want. Don't write a whole sentence. The last thing you want to do is read from a script. Write just a few words to remind you of what you wanted to talk about. If you don't have anything in particular you want to talk your friend family member about. Okay, thank you for watching.